Imagine London, not the bustling metropolis of today, but a darker, rougher place. This is London in the 1800s. At its edge stood a grim symbol of justice, Tayburn tree. Not a tree at all, but a gallows, a place of death. For centuries, Tayburn was where criminals met their end. Public hangings were common. They were a grim spectacle, a warning to any who dared break the law. The shadow of Tayburn loomed large in the minds of Londoners. Tayburn wasn't just a place of execution, it was a stage. The crowds that gathered weren't just spectators, they were participants in a ritual, a macabre performance that spoke volumes about the times. Crimes punished by death were varied. Theft, even of small sums, could lead to the gallows. Highway robbery, murder, treason, all carried the ultimate penalty. Tayburn was a stark reminder of the harsh realities of life in 1800s London. For some, Tayburn represented the swift hand of justice, a necessary evil in a world without prisons. For others, it was a symbol of oppression, the king's justice meted out on the poor and unfortunate. The legal system was harsh, unforgiving, trials were swift, defenses often inadequate. A guilty verdict at the Old Bailey often meant a one-way trip to Tayburn. The journey itself was an ordeal. The condemned would be driven through the streets of London. Execution days were public holidays. People flocked to Tayburn from all over London. They came to witness the spectacle, to gawk at the condemned, to hear their final confessions. The atmosphere was tense, electric. The condemned would be led up onto the platform, a noose placed around their neck. The crowd hushed as the executioner delivered the final words. Then the drop. A collective gasp would rise from the onlookers. Tayburn had claimed another life. The crowds at Tayburn were a mix of classes. Rich and poor alike came to witness the spectacle. For some it was entertainment, for others a cautionary tale. Pickpockets thrived in the throngs, while vendors hawked food and drink. Executions were a chance to see justice served, to feel a sense of communal outrage. But they were also a chance to socialize, to be part of something bigger. Tayburn was a strange mix of the sacred and the profane. In a gruesome twist, souvenirs of the executed were highly sought after. Pieces of clothing, locks of hair, even body parts were sold to the crowd. These macabre mementos were believed to hold power, to ward off evil or bring good luck. The trade in these objects was brisk. It was a way for people to profit from death, to participate in the event in a tangible way. The souvenirs of Tayburn were a chilling reminder of the public's fascination with death and violence. By the late 18th century, the tide began to turn. Public executions, once seen as a necessary deterrent, were increasingly viewed as barbaric. Reformers spoke out against the horrors of Tayburn. They argued for more humane forms of punishment. In 1783, the last execution took place at Tayburn. The gallows were dismantled, the site slowly fading from memory. The end of Tayburn marked a turning point in the history of criminal justice in England. Though Tayburn is long gone, its legacy endures. It serves as a reminder of a time when justice was brutal and unforgiving, a time when life was cheap and death was a public spectacle. The story of Tayburn prompts us to reflect on our own values, on how far we've come in our understanding of justice and punishment. It reminds us that the quest for a more humane and just society is an ongoing process. The death penalty itself remains a contentious issue. While no longer practiced in the United Kingdom, it persists in many parts of the world. The debate over capital punishment is complex, with strong arguments on both sides. The story of Tayburn reminds us that the way we punish crime is a reflection of who we are as a society. It is a debate that is unlikely to be resolved anytime soon, but it is a debate worth having.